Nigel, with the time you've had to now having properly analysed the Morecambe performance, what did you see?
Some real good performances from players individually. Collectively as a group, I saw heart, I saw commitment, I saw a structure about ourselves. We defended really well with some resilience. That's easy for someone to say. Resolute defending. We had that resilience, you know what I mean? So basically we kept going, we stuck in there, but we had a good shape about ourselves. You know, we tinkered the formation from what we had been playing. We'd had a front two in there, and I thought with Jennings and Dennis, they linked up really, really well. And we created some really good opportunities. Unfortunately, we just didn't take one. However, we're creating the opportunities. So from my point of view, there was a lot of good positives to take from the game to keep building on.
We've had some very good passages of play, but ultimately it's a results-driven game, isn't it?
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's the name of the game. Stick it in one end, keep it out the other, put it in that end as more times than they put it in our end. You know what I mean? From a goals point of view. So we know that's the objective, win a game of football. To win a game of football, you've got to score more goals than the opposition. So we've been working on that. We've been doing a lot of offensive play in trying to create situations to give ourselves a chance to score. And we have been doing that. We have been creating chances. We have been scoring goals. And likewise, we've been trying to make sure when we haven't got the ball, if we've got a good defensive shape about ourselves to minimise the opposition's chances. Now, when we look at the data and we look at the stats, we have been creating good chances and we have been reducing the amount of chances that the opposition have got. Now, some of the goals we've conceded have been individual mistakes, poor errors. However, we've got to learn from them. And I like to think with the process that we have in place in respect of debriefing the game, learning the lessons from it, and then be able to put that to bed and move on to the next game, having learnt them lessons, I can see there has been an improvement. Now, ultimately, we've got to marry all that up together. And answering your question, it is about winning. But it's the how are we going to go and win. We know we've got to go and win, but how are we going to go and do it? It can't just be willy-nilly turn up and hope for the best. There's got to be a structure. And over the course of the season, if we get the structure right about how we approach things, I'm very confident that we'll get to the situation that we win more games than we lose.
We've all seen the league table. What's the reality of the position that we're in?
Well, the reality is we've got to make sure that, answering your previous question, we've got to win more games of football because we've got to get points on the board. How are we going to go and do that? You know, we're at the wrong end of the table and a third of the season gone now. So we've got to make sure that we get more points on the board. But again, as I keep alluding to over the course of the season, it's the how we're going to go and do that one. How are we going to make sure we can create more chances and take them chances to go and score, and how we can nullify the opposition's opportunity to score. And nullify the basic mistakes that we've been making individually that's actually led to goals. So it's collectively all of us trying to make sure that we bring the best of us every single day. Good habits, good behaviours, good teamship. We'll give ourselves, with that passion and perseverance, the opportunity to get more points on the board.
You've been able to get through similar situations in your managerial career before. What lessons have you learnt from that experience?
Yeah, as you say, I've had a long career. We've won more than we've lost. And again, we've been in some real challenging situations where we've been expected to lose every week. So again, the early days, and it's served us well throughout, where, especially when you're up against it, do everything we can, plan and prepare to win a game of football, try and put a structure in place. Players have got to step up, players have got to go and do it. Because ultimately it's about the players on the field of play. You're trying to give them every tool, equip them as best as you can to understand what the opposition is going to do, try and put them in a position where they can excel for the strengths that they've got, and ultimately learn the lessons from a game. As I said, draw a blue line underneath it, put that to bed, and then get your preparation right going into the next game, physically, technically, tactically, mentally, socially. How can we all be together? And the biggest lesson is we have honest conversations in a safe environment in our meeting room. We have honest conversations together. Ultimately, you've got to stick together. You've got to be a team. Together, everyone achieves more. And I think especially when you're up against it, it's so easy to point a finger, blame somebody else. It's not you, it's somebody else. Or we're rubbish, we can't do this, we can't do that. Of course there's things we can't do, but there's things we can do. Reinforce the positive message and reinforce what we are doing well, because over the long term, this is going to help us win a game of football. Not blaming everybody else, not saying what we can't do. That's going to lead down the line of losing more games of football. So for me, it's changing our mindset, having that growth mindset, that togetherness of all of us pulling in the same direction. Now at the moment, we're in choppy waters. You know, you've got to batten down the hatches. You've got to make sure that when it's there to row, we're all rowing in the same direction. You're looking after each other. You know, there's nobody jumping over the side. No one going in the dinghy thinking, well, I'm all right, I'm looking after myself. No, it's everybody on board, players, staff, everybody connected with the football club, supporters. Bring the best of you to help the situation that we're in at this moment in time. And believe you me, when we get through it, because we will get through it, you'll all go, do you know what, I played my little part in helping us get through it, and not being, well, I told you so, I'm being miserable, right? Cool. We don't need, at this moment in time, we don't need that. I understand everybody's point of view because I'm a fan. I understand it. However, at this moment in time, I would suggest that if we all get behind each other, bring the best of you to support the team, support the football club, we've got a better chance of getting through this if we stick together than if we don't.
You sound confident that we can change our fortune.
We will change our fortune because we need to change our fortune. You just talked about the situation where we are in the division at this moment in time. We have to change the fortune, but we do that by a process that, you know, I believe works in place. Everybody coming together, everybody working hard, having that passion, that perseverance. It might not have to be the best player, but you give everything you've got for the team. You've got to be committed. You know, everybody needs to be committed to the cause. The cause is Tranmere Rovers Football Club. Now, I remember when I was here, when I first started off, 1981, joined the football club, we nearly went out of existence. So I've been here in the dark days, and I know how we get through it is we all stick together. We all bring the best of us, because we want Tranmere Rovers Football Club to still be here, still in the Football League, still trying to build so we can try and climb the tables, climb the divisions if we want over time. But the moment, the reality is where we are. And what we've got to do is make sure that everybody brings the best of them to support Tranmere Rovers Football Club.
You talk about togetherness, and you could really sense that at Morecambe at the end of the game, in particular between the players, staff and the supporters. What's your message to the fans?
Well, listen, I thought it was, we've lost the game, but you could see the appreciation. All the players and staff got together and they've gone over, and all the supporters behind the goal were clapping the players. We really appreciate the hard work, the finance, the effort, and the ups and downs it is supporting your team, supporting Tranmere Rovers Football Club. As I said, I'm a fan, I get it. And I really appreciate you making the effort to go there on a Tuesday night. It's not easy, so thank you. But from our point of view, as a team, there's a connection. We're up against it at the moment. As I said, we're trying to improve. We're looking to improve. We will improve. We will change our fortune. Ultimately, we're going to win games of football on the pitch by working hard and showing that passion and that perseverance. Everyone comes together. And the fans are a massive part of that. It's all of us together. And again, all I'm going to say is I really appreciate being a fan myself. I really appreciate everybody doing what they can to get behind the team, because that's what a supporter is. We've all got to support. What are we supporting? We're supporting our local club, Tranmere Rovers Football Club. That's what we're supporting. And the only way we're going to get ourselves through this situation is if we all stick together and bring our positive energy in any way, shape or form to help the cause.
So, looking ahead to the weekend, we visit Stockport, league leaders who are currently on a 10-game unbeaten run. How are you looking to approach that game?
I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a big crowd. You know, obviously they're top of the table. They'll be expected to win. As you said, they've just won 10 games. Dave Challenger has done a great job at Stockport. You know, it's nice to see people who've been associated with Tranmere Rovers. Remember his long throw that he had in the day? Used to watch it. It's nice to see good people doing well, and we played them. We beat Stockport a couple of weeks ago in the Cheshire Senior Cup, so I had a good chat with Dave then. As I said, he's done a real good job. But remember, they were in the conference for a long time. They've had to rebuild, they've had to get going. Now they've obviously put themselves in a good financial footing. Obviously the players, the budgets they've used, all that sort of thing. They're attracting players at the top end of the league, and that's where they are at this moment in time. But Dave's done well. We know it's going to be a challenge, but we're embracing that challenge. We're looking forward to it. We know we've got to improve. We are improving in certain aspects. One of the questions you asked here, we've got to win a game of football. We're going to do everything we can to see if we can win a game of football. And at some point we will. The expectation is that Stockport should win. They're top of the table, 110. Tranmere Rovers, bottom of the table, not won away from home since February. So the expectation is Stockport should win. However, we've got to do everything we can to give ourselves the opportunity to go and win a game of football.
And just before we finish, have you got any update on our current injury situation?
Yeah, the list has grown, unfortunately, but like all teams, they've got injuries, and you know, it was a competitive game the other night. The lads put a great shift in. You know, they worked really hard. We picked up a few more injuries the other night. Connor Wood, for example, came off at half-time. Dan Pike did great when he came on, by the way, I thought. Obviously, Regan Henry's suspended now, so we can't play at the weekend, but we've got one or two. Unfortunately, Joey Starbuck picked up a real bad foot injury in training a couple of weeks ago. It's been diagnosed as worse than what we thought, so he's going to be out for several weeks now, which is a blow, because I thought he was doing really well. Chris Merry, for example, has been out for a little bit. Hopefully he's not going to be out for too long. Sam Taylor picked up a foot injury, so he's missed the last game with that. It'll be touchy. I don't think he'll be available for the weekend. And when we talk about 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗥𝗧, picked up a real bad foot injury, he needed a lot of stitches in his foot injury in the Leicester game, so he's still at least another week before he can get his boots on, before he even thinks about training. So we've got that. And obviously Jake Leake's back on the grass doing a bit more running around, but he's still a few weeks away from joining in fully. And Luke Norris is obviously the big player that we've been trying to get back. He's now stepped up his training a little bit, but obviously being out for 9 weeks, he suggests that he's only had a couple of days back in, doing it, stepping up. You know, he's going to be back sooner rather than later, so that's an important message for everybody.